Hello, my name's Andy Kershaw and I'm a tuba player who loves exploring early musical instruments and especially early low brass instruments. And today I've been at the early music shop trying both the resin and the leather covered resin Serpents that are available to buy here in the shop or online. So these are two fabulous Serpents made by the early music shop, and they are copies of an instrument that was invented as far back as the 1590s. The Serpent was invented in France and was originally used to accompany plainsong in French churches, and eventually it was taken up across Europe, including in the UK, where it was used right into the Victorian period in both military bands and West Gallery bands, also within church music. So the Serpents that I've been playing today are copies of an original French church serpent by the maker Baudouin. The original instrument probably dates from around 1810. Now, these instruments are both made from resin. This instrument is the resin in its natural form, and this instrument has been beautifully bound in leather, which is exactly how the original wooden Serpents would have been made. Both instruments have a brass crook or bocal and are then played with a trombone shape and size mouthpiece, but normally made out of a composite for modern instruments or originally out of wood or indeed ivory. Both of these instruments have a range of a little over 2 octaves, but you have to remember that because the Serpent was invented in the 1590s, you have to do an awful lot of work with your lips, and the Serpent is not a particularly easy instrument to play if you just rely on the 6 finger holes. A lot is done with the player's embouchure. Despite that, they're really, really good fun to learn, and anybody interested in the history of brass instruments really should have a go at learning and owning a Serpent. So of course the original surviving Serpents are quite fragile, and it does make sense to play these instruments and certainly learn these instruments on a faithful reproduction. So these instruments from the early music shop give you an opportunity to do just that. They're quite robust, they're very nicely made, and they're a perfect way to get into learning the wonderful Serpent. Both of these instruments are available either online or at both of the early music shop stores.